What do you want to change about education? What I want to change is how we've been taught that we need to fit into an education system as learners rather than our education system learning to fit us. As an educator, I know that the freedom we need as learners often descends into logistical chaos without consistency. This is where Pathfinder Microschool was born, out of this idea that we can have a consistent container, a consistent process, consistent expectations, but everything else, your whole pathway through your learning, your education, can be a choose your own adventure. Pathfinder learning is all about having support and accountability in place so that you can individuate and explore your interests within a container that wants you to be you. Pathfinder Microschool is for kids that are creative, kids that are different, kids that are non-traditional learners, maybe neurodivergent learners, kids that are curious or courageous enough to want to take control of the path that they take in their learning. Students can join core classes during scheduled blocks or electives, or they can build their own course. So this is what that starts to look like. Quests are the jumping off point. They are the classes where students will get to explore a certain thing. For example, Book Quest is a course where you can explore as many different books as possible. You can explore different titles, different summaries, different book covers, different genres, until you start to individuate and see from the sea of options, sea of places you can find books, where you like to go to choose books, and what books you like to choose. There are also food quests, there are imagination quests, and there are music quests, but then there is a build your own quest. So if someone understands what they want to explore, we will explore that. Labs are the next stage of Pathfinder learning structure. It's a deeper place for your creative process to emerge. Say the books you've chosen in your book quest, or maybe you've chosen them without a book quest, you go in and you start to read them. We start to do reflections on them. We start to do English language arts type learning. The choices that learners make in labs are what direction to focus on. They do maintain a certain level of focus, but there is a certain level of changing direction with reflection and explanation. The next stage in Pathfinder learning is studios. So studios are where students that have a creative idea, they go ahead and start creating something. They might do a writing studio, writing a story after doing an imagination quest and a storytelling lab. But some kids might not need the setup. They might just want to go right into the studio. That's pretty rare, but I love working with students who have a creative vision. They want to write a story. That's amazing. Maybe they want to write a song. The sky is the limit for their studios. If they can propose it, we can make it happen. The foundation of all quests, labs, and studios are missions. Daily missions are designed to take about 30 minutes of a student's time, but when students start really loving what they're studying, that's when I like to see that they spend more time than 30 minutes because they're invested and they're excited. Creative missions are delivered through a highly moderated Discord server. Students can receive their mission, share their work, receive their feedback, and see what peers are doing in this private Discord server. To facilitate a full visibility for parents, all messages between mentors and students happen in this private Discord server, so that parents can access anything at any time in their course channels or their mentorship channels and see what's happening in their course. There are no private messages or DMs between mentors and students. Whether students choose a core course, an elective, or they build their own course, every student receives one-on-one mentorship, and this is what makes the Pathfinder Microschool really special. For example, last year, my first student wanted to learn how to produce her own music in Ableton. I had never used Ableton before, but I had used music production software. I know the creative process of songwriting, and I know the process that I could walk her through. I helped her overcome blocks in her creative process, which even when we have the intrinsic motivation and we want to do something, sometimes something is still holding us back. So I helped her try and fail and try again and end up proud of what you created by the end. And as a student like her starts to go deeper into what they're studying, something that I may not know, this is where guest mentors come in. I have a growing network of guest mentors that can help advise on creating missions for different students' special interests. This includes a seasoned sound producer who is currently advising me on shaping the creative missions for her going forward into the future. Another revolutionary part of Pathfinder learning is that one course doesn't have to just be one subject. So depending on the student's special interests and any transcript needs academically, we could turn a book quest into a science class, into a social studies class, also an English language arts class, and maybe also comics or anime. We could have a mix of all these different things depending on how they need to shape it for what their goals are. Last year, I was a teacher to 400 students in a public middle school art room. 400 students. I did some math and I calculated that I was only able to spend roughly 5 minutes per school year per child. After that crazy but wonderful experience, I realized how I felt robbed of truly mentoring those children. Rather than making a light impression, making a significant impact. I would much rather work with 10 students per year, which is not only a lot less stressful for me, but it allows me to offer them 1 hour of mentorship per week, 4 hours per month, and in a 6-month school year, that's 24 hours of mentorship at least per year. And that's not to mention over 100 instances of individualized feedback that take place in their course channels on every creative mission that happens daily. We also set weekly goals and celebrate weekly wins. And we have seasonal challenges based around National Culinary Arts Month or National Reading Month, National Poetry Month, all kinds of things like that. And we also have monthly group calls where guest mentors pop in and we do creativity games in storytelling or sustainability or even finance and art. We learned about the Industrial Revolution in school, and that was a time when education changed. Before that, our educators used to be learned friends in our community, and I believe we're going through a change after this AI revolution into a mentorship revolution. There are so many teachers and coaches and gurus out there charging thousands of dollars for their time. And then there are also many teachers in school systems that are working way more hours than they are actually being compensated for. I think the mentorship revolution is when we're going back to the learned friends. Those people who can help us think differently and start revolutions with our individuality and our thought. And that's what I'm excited about, seeing change in education.